Morgan, it's bittersweet. The final NBA game of the season is tomorrow, but it's a Game 7!
Do it at the same time.
Pacers, Thunder, it's a Game 7! This is what I live for. This is all we wanted, right? Playoffs last year were kind of boring. These playoffs have been great.
Yeah.
This series has had so many emotions and feelings. And oh my goodness. And here we are, Pacers, Thunder, Game 7 in Oklahoma City coming up tomorrow.
Say it one more time. No, I'm kidding.
This is exciting. This is what I think we all live for as sports fans. Like, oh my God, the final game is like, whoever wins, it's over.
Well,
that's it.
But like, let's go to Game 6 because you feel that in some ways, right? Because whoever wins, it's over, and you feel a certain way. But there's something different when it's defined, like it's in front of it. Game 7 of the finals. This is like literally the last of the last game it could possibly be. And that's what these two great teams did this season to push toward, to push to. Yeah, it's pretty exciting that we have this, but I think how they got here with the Game 6, the Pacers, their defense, both these teams, one best offense in the league, the Pacers, one best defense in the league, OKC. Going into this series, how are the Pacers going to stop OKC? How are they going to slow them down? Well, shit, Deuce. They kept making adjustments throughout this entire series, and in that Game 6, the ones that they made were pretty special.
And I think that's one thing going into the series that not enough people gave Indiana credit for. It's what they do defensively. It's not just in the playoffs. It's what they've done really since like January 1st.
Yeah.
They were like 8th in defensive rating since January 1st.
Damn.
And it's only carried on come playoff time. And you talk about the adjustments in Game 6. I thought Caitlin Cooper, shockingly, did an amazing job breaking it down as she spends, like, after a game ends, I just imagine she's just like combing over film for hours and hours going, oh, I noticed that. It's amazing.
She's actually a robot, an AI robot.
It's crazy. But she was detailing like the pickup point of Indiana in games 1 through 5 versus Game 6. And we saw like the full court pressure for most of the series by Indiana, and they mixed it up. They waited until SGA was coming across mid-court. That high pick would come from a big, and they would just like blitz and just crowd them, and they were playing the gaps better. The help was fantastic. Indiana, those tweaks by Carlisle, what a magician, especially in a win-or-go-home game for them in that Game 6. It's just been fun to see the tinkering take place.
For the team to buy in and take that on, right? To just soak in the knowledge of what is given to them by this coaching staff. You see sometimes there's players that can do that, and that's great. But when an entire team can do that, and I'm not just talking about the first unit, I'm talking go all the way down into the bench. Each player you can plug and play and go and execute this new game plan, this new defensive scheme that you're trying to make sure to slow down this OKC offense. And it obviously worked in so many different ways. And you talk about how they were really playing those gaps. I thought their ability to get from the low post all the way up to trying to take away that next pass at the top of the key, and then somehow recover when their man would be cutting down, maybe a flex cut or whatever, and be able to just keep their hands up in the passing lane, keep the activity. Because there was a few times when we were looking at some of the highlights that Caitlin Cooper had talked about with some of these defensive possessions. It was like, wait, why didn't OKC just make that skip pass there? Oh, because Indiana was always on time with their ability to take away this passing lane and then sprint back and take away that passing lane.
They were way tougher angles, right? And they took away
huge
OKC's ability to drive. They love getting into the paint, and sometimes they're playing off shooters a little bit, and that's where I think Oklahoma City's they got to knock down some shots. They got to take these shots and not be scared. I think they had so much success with some of their driving, even finishing through contact at times. But hey, it's going to be different. And I think, with a Game 7, it's just like you're throwing everything at the table. This is it.
And that's where I wanted to go too, because you think about, okay, this different defensive scheme thrown at OKC in this game. Well, now OKC has the ability to make their tweaks and tinker with things on if that's thrown at us. Okay, this is what we do. And this is where I don't want to say they have the upper hand, but it just has been a game of chess, and they get like the final move. I don't know how chess works.
Yeah, I've never played chess in my life. But yeah, we always talk. It's like chess because it's hard, like to tinker.
Well, and because it's patience, it's time, and it's one move at a time. And I feel like now OKC gets to watch that film of the new defensive schemes kind of thrown at them and go, okay, these are the adjustments that we're going to make. So what can Rick Carlisle and his coaching staff and his team make in a game 7 if OKC finds a way to break that and really screws with that?
The question is like, who has the edge in this game 7? And
well, that's what.
I go. I guess reluctantly, I say OKC because they're at home.
100%.
But I just don't feel confident at it. I think my position with where Indiana is at right now, I feel like OKC has had more moments where they've looked funny. Offensively, where that's a
rattled.
Rattled, where a little uncertain about things. Indiana's had games where maybe they haven't, played as well as they normally do, haven't made shots like they normally do. I just feel like OKC's looked a little rattled at times. And Indiana's just so connected. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment just based off that one game 6, but man, for them to show up the way they did, we talk about what they did defensively, but like, dude, Tyrese Halliburton is dealing with a calf strain. All the talk was he was going to play in game 6. Then he plays in game 6. They definitely did things differently. They were not running me pick and rolls with him. He's getting the ball up the floor like he loves to do. I thought they did a good job, but he also made some incredible plays. But the key number, in my opinion, with him was like 23 minutes. Mm-hmm. The wear and tear that could come in a game 7 if it's a close game, how will his body handle that? But I just love the response from Indiana. It's like, okay, yeah, our guy Tyrese isn't going to be at the level we're used to, but Siakam was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the two guys that I think have been so monumental for the Pacers on this run, TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin.
Absolutely.
They shift the energy of a game, specifically TJ, who's been just a monster.
Yeah. I mean, TJ in multiple games. And let's go back to that game 5 where Tyrese did get injured with that calf. And it felt like at times late in that game, we were finally looking and going, God, Rick Carlisle should go back to TJ. Yeah. And so many people had that same type of feeling. And it's a tough decision you have to make as a coach because who are you going to take out too when you need defense here and you need this here? But it was like TJ was contributing on the defensive end and on the offensive end, wasn't a liability and adding a different type of momentum and spark. And so now I think maybe that Rick Carlisle has also seen that and has also been coaching forever, can kind of look at this game 7 and understand if he needs to make that tweak, he needs to make that tweak. Like there's no tomorrow. There's no other game you get to go to. Like that is where you got to go. And I mean, it's not about TJ's earned that. It's like, no. TJ McConnell has just been so huge for this team in shifting the way that they've been playing on both ends.
In game 6, he had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Totally swung the game when he goes into the game. It just shifts, and we've seen it multiple times in this series throughout the year too. Guy's been incredible, and then Obi Toppin's been awesome too. So I don't know. It's just like I just don't have the confidence where I'm like, OKC's winning this. I think everyone felt that way going into this series for the most part, unless you live in Indiana. You felt like, I think OKC, Pacers are really good, but OKC's just going to be better. At this point, dude, to me, it is as close as it can get. This Indiana team has shown that they could win in Oklahoma City. Uh-huh. They have shown the ability that they can score on this defense. Sure. They have shown that they can guard too. They're not afraid of this moment. Like, I don't think we're going to look back after this game 7, go, man, Indiana looked like scared and rattled. If they lose, I think it's just because Oklahoma City played better.
Absolutely. And I hope that's the reason, because that means that we got a really damn good game. But yeah, I think when you do talk about the edge, you just think about the home court advantage mostly.
But that could get shifted so
fast.
But that's a quick start by Indiana.
But that's why I said in theory, and in the basketball world, in the sports world, like that's. Of course, you're going to give that edge to someone with home court advantage, especially when their home court has truly, their fans have shown up in a different way. And it's like some of these guys, obviously, I mean, how many of these guys I guess, are playing in their first game 7 of an NBA finals, where it's
all of them.
and where it's like the biggest of the big moment. And what is your mind going to be going through? You know, like, how are you going to prepare, not just physically, but mentally as well? Not just from film, but also how to keep yourself not from thinking about different things.
The pressure.
But just the moment.
This is it.
Yeah.
And I talked about this after our game 5 recap. It's just like, you just don't know if you're ever going to get back there. And I think there's always this assumption when you watch the finals where, you know, these are like the 2 teams left standing. Like, well, Indiana's going to be back there at some point, or Oklahoma City, they're going to be there multiple years. They may get a three-peat or something like that. And it's like, there's no guarantees. Oklahoma City back in 2012 thought they were going to get there for years and years. This is the first time they've been back. They have a chance to win a championship for the first time since they've been in Oklahoma City. Indiana hasn't won a championship since back to the ABA days. This is just the pressure. It's pressure packed. And that's the other thing. The fans feel that too.
Yeah.
So, like, if Indiana can come out early and set a tone, all of a sudden there's that nervous energy in the building. And that, you could feel that if you're on the Thunder.
And how many turnovers did SGA have in that last game?
He had 8. Oklahoma City, 21, the most in a game this season.
Yeah. So, was it because they were rattled? Was it because the new defense was thrown at them?
The defense.
What was it that threw them off and made them make those mistakes? And how do you, I guess, turn that off, whether it's mentally or figure it out with just the right game plan to get that ball by people, to attack those gaps differently, to play your same type of game that you've been playing all season long when that pressure is thrown at you? Are the biggest of the big players going to step up? You know, SGA, is he going to be able to still take over? And if he can't take over, other guys have to make sure that they're stepping up for OKC.
And I thought in game 6, well, Pascal Siakam's just done a great job in general, but we saw a lot more Pascal and Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
It was very challenging. You know, Siakam is a real legit two-way threat. And what he can do defensively with his length, he'll play physical with you too. And then the other end, you got to deal with him too. It's tough. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. If Indiana pulls this off too, this is one of the greatest NBA Finals upsets ever. Even if you I believed in Indiana, it's not that big of an upset. No, it is. No one thought you guys had a chance. You're taking on a team that won 68 games, that was putting up defensive numbers that are just unreal, the point differential, all those things in favor. But here we are, going to a game 7. The Pacers have a legit shot in this game.
Even if you are a Pacers fan or someone that covers the Pacers and is like, no, I believed in this team the whole time, you'd still have to admit, like, in this postseason alone, not just in this series, but in this postseason alone, they grew and got better each and every game, not just as a team, not just with the defensive scheme or game plan from Rick Carlisle. It was like every individual and then collectively as a group learned something new, took that into the next game, learned something new, took that into the next series, grew something more confidence or whatever it was. And I mean, the way that they've been able to play together as a team, both these teams, super likable in my mind. And I'm just so happy this is what we were given. I'm so glad it wasn't some, we've seen some teams over the years where it's like, people only get excited if it's a big market team or
a big name.
And as we wear our Sacramento Kings gear, as we always do, God, we need some new clothes. But, I love small market love, and I love when there's success there. And I just think not only is it so cool for these cities, not so cool for these fans, but for these teams, for these organizations, I think it's really important.
If you doubted Indiana through their playoff runners, people who have but come on. They beat up a Milwaukee team that was banged up, Cleveland. Oh, they beat the Knicks, but, okay. The Knicks weren't that good. They have showed up in this Oklahoma City series. And so if you had any doubt, I feel like that has to be knocked away.
Yeah.
I think the Pacers, to your point about the small market thing, I think Indiana is such a likable team because everybody, do you go, hey, they have a superstar in their team? No. I don't even want to get into that debate, I guess.
Yeah, because my
point is, it is a true team. Yeah. It's a collection of players who are beyond united that definitely have talent. There's no doubt there's talent with Halliburton and Siakam.
But basketball's a team sport.
It's beautiful. And I feel like they play how basketball should be played.
Yes.
They defend, they move the ball, they cut, they play physical, they like each other. You just watch them and go, I like this team. And the same with Oklahoma City. It's a little different because they've got the MVP. But again, a collection of just like good guys who are well connected, who play really good defense. I love this game, dude. And this is what it's about. So I'm just going to appreciate this game 7. I hope it's an awesome game 7. I hope it's not one of those blowout ones. The last time we had a game 7, it was 2016 in the finals with the Cavs beating the Warriors in Oakland. What a game that was. I hope we get an iconic game. And this is where legends are made in a game 7. It elevates you to another level. If SGA comes out tomorrow with a 40-piece in a game 7 and they win,
never forget
that's going down in history. If the Pacers beat this team, they're going to go down as one of the best underdog stories in league history. Let's go.
I know.
Who do you have?
No. I don't do that.
Okay, how about this? How about this? My heart, my brain.
You know what? I don't even know where my heart, my brain is. Honestly, like that's so. I could just do it just to do it, but I don't believe it.
Okay, that's fine.
Because that's what you all the sports shows do. You have to have a pick. No, I don't.
I'm gonna say this.
No one's gonna kill me if I don't pick.
My brain.
Yeah.
I said before the series, my brain OKC.
Okay.
My heart OKC.
Woo!
Right? I said that before the series.
Okay.
My brain says OKC.
Whoa!
Reluctantly.
I don't even know why that shocked me.
My heart, Indiana.
Oh, you know what? It's because you've been going to therapy. It's because you've been going to
I'm
therapy.
going to say that now, but when we record a reaction video after game 7 and Tyrese Halliburton's hoisting Larry O'Brien, I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy for him. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
For sure.
No,
I'm in a good spot with it.
I know you are. No, and it's really it's the love of the game, no matter who's getting it. And players that play with joy, it's so fun to root for.
That's where my heart stands right now.
Okay.
Reluctantly, because I truly like both of these teams. I know there's people like, SGA does this, and they're too physical, they do that. I'm like, dude, screw that. This is basketball. It's supposed to be physical. It's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be ugly at times. And when Indiana has played ugly basketball sometimes, it's not because they suck. It's because Oklahoma City is really good.
Yes.
And when Oklahoma City is struggling sometimes, it's not just because they're rattled or afraid of the moment. It's because Indiana is pretty damn good too. That's what's special about this. 2 teams that are legit. Only one team can walk away and be the king of kings, the champion of champions. Pacers, Thunder, are you ready? Right when I said, are you ready? I was thinking about how, could you imagine if the Kings were in this situation? Would we be pumped up or would we be nervous?
I don't even I probably wouldn't be able to do this video. I would be in therapy right now, and it's a Saturday.
Pacers fans, how are you feeling? OKC fans, what are your emotions like? And NBA fans across the world, let us know in the comments below. Who are you picking in Game 7? Who has the edge? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.